All right, so 9.4. I can get that to go away. There we go. Surface area problems. So I can find a surface area of 3D shapes. So surface area is the sum, so that's adding, right, of all the areas. So remember, area is that inside part of all the surfaces of a 3D shape. So it's like all the outside of a box. Or like if you're going to put wrapping paper around something, it's the amount of wrapping paper you would need to perfectly tape it on edge to edge, no overlap. That's what surface area is. So Erin is making a jewelry box of wood in the shape of a rectangular prism. The jewelry box will have the dimensions shown. She plans to spray paint the exterior of the box. So that's the surface area, right? Just the outside of it. How many square inches will she have to paint? So we have our box. The other way you can think about surface area is, you know, when you break down boxes to put in recycling. It's kind of how you can think about it. So this is, oh, I'm missing one, here we go. So this is like the bottom. And this is the left side, right? And this is the right side. And then this is the top. And then this is the front. And this is the back. That's how you can think about it. It's every little piece that makes the outside of a shape. Okay? So you can see we would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different areas. And that's what we would add up all together. Once we find the areas of the left side, the bottom, the right side, the top, the back, and the front, we would then add them all together. Okay? Now the nice thing about a rectangular prism box is that the left and the right are exactly the same. So once we find one, we have the other. And then the same is the same as the bottom and the top. They're exactly the same. And then the front and the back. So we really need to find 3 and then just do it twice, right? So if we look at our measurements, so we've got this by this. That's this right side. This is this side right here. And then the left side is over there. They're the same. So we're going to do 6. So for the left / right side is going to be 6 times 15. But then we're going to times that by 2 because there's 2 of them. All right, the left and the right together. So 15 times 6 is 90. But there's a left and a right, 2 of them. So that gets us 180. So we've got, this is, I kind of drew over it, is 12. All right, this is 12 by 6. This is 6 as well, because it matches here. That's the front. And then the back is exactly the same, it's over there. So for the front / back, we're going to do 12 times 6, but we're going to times it by 2 because there's 2 of them. So 12 times 6 is 72, and then we're going to times it by 2, so 144. And then we've got one last bit, right? We've got the top. All right, that's the top, this orange piece. And then the bottom is exactly the same. So I'm kind of running out of room. So top slash bottom would be 12 times 15. And then again, we're going to times that by 2 because they're the same. So 12 times 15 is 180. But we're going to times it by 2 to get both of them, so 360. So now I have all my pieces, right? Front, or left, right, front, back, top, bottom, 6 pieces. So now that I have them all, I'm going to add them together. I'm going to go 180 plus 144 plus 360. And that's going to get us 684 inches squared. It's still area. So it's still inches squared because this was inches times inches, inches squared, inches times inches, inches squared, and then inches times inches, inches squared. When we add up a bunch of inches squared, they just become inches squared. All right, this down here, we would call this a triangular prism because the main thing that makes it what it is this triangle right here. Okay, so surface areas, we need to take all the areas and find them and then add them back together. So if I laid this out like this is what we call a net, this flat thing, right? I would have a triangle here, the rectangle on the bottom, the rectangle holding them together, a triangle here, and then I actually would have 2 rectangles like this. That's these pieces here connecting the sides of the triangle. So we're going to have 5 pieces to put together. Now be careful, these rectangles may not be the same, so we do need to be careful with that, but the triangles are identical. Okay, so let's do the triangles first. Right, there's 2 of them, this bottom piece and this top piece. So area of a triangle, remember, is half times the base, so that's 8. And then the height of the triangle, this is the height of the triangle right here. See how it shows us for it? And it's 3. Okay, so let's do that first. So 8 times 3 is 24. And then we're going to take half of that. We're going to get 12. But we have 2 of them. So let's times it by 2, and we actually get 24 back. And this is feet squared. Okay, but I'm doing it by 2 again right here because I have 2 triangles. So then this rectangle is this rectangle right here. And so it's 7, see how it matches? 7 by 5. It's this rectangle. 7 by 5. And 7 by 5 is 35. That's it. That's all you have to do for that one. Because there's only one of them. And then this rectangle, what's really nice is actually it is the same as this one, right? Because it's 5 by 7 as well. See the 5? So it's 35. Now the bottom is the same base as the triangle. See how it matches here? It's 8. And then it's by 7 because it's the same as all of these. It's also 7 right here. So 8 times 7 is 56. So we have all of our pieces. So now that we have all our pieces, we can add them together. So I'm going to go 35 plus 56 plus 35 plus my 24 for my 2 triangles. So we're going to get 150 feet squared. So the trickiest part of this isn't can I find the area, it's can I make sure I have all the pieces. So just think about it if you were going to lay it out like you were going to recycle it, right? Like pull it all the way flat every panel, no overlap. That's the other main thing, is that they can't overlap. They lay completely flat. Okay, so Dara is building a plant stand. She wants to stain the plant stand, except for the bottom of the large prism. Find the surface area of the part of the plant stand she will stain. So this is the plant stand. Okay, so we have to think about the pieces. So we're not going to paint the bottom. Okay, so that's one piece extra missing from the rectangular prism. If you notice, they are sitting on top of each other. So we're not going to stain, these two squares are sitting on top of each other. We're not going to stain the bottom of that one either. Okay, so that's another piece we'll have missing, right? So let's do the small rectangle, or small square first. Okay, that's the top one. So it's a square. See, if you notice, they gave us 8 by 8 by 8, so it's a square, which actually makes the area a little bit easier. So the left and the right is just 2 times 8 times 8, because there's 2 of them, and it's 8 times 8. So that's 64 times 2, and that gets us 128. So then we're going to add that to, let's do the front and the back. So what's really nice is the same thing, 2 times 8 times 8, because it's a square, so 128. Now this is where it's going to change. We're going to actually just add the top, because the bottom is not going to get stained. So we're just going to do 8 times 8 here, and it gets 64. So now we're going to add them all together, and the small square is 320 feet squared. So now let's do the big square. So again, left and right. So that's 2 times, now 12 times 12, because you can see it's 12 by 12. And again, we're doing it by 2, because there's 2 of them. All right, one side times 2. Then we're going to add it to the front and the back. So, same thing, the square. We are not going to do the bottom, but we are going to do the top. But here's the problem. The top is minus this top, like the bottom of the small square. Because if you see, the small square is blocking part of the top of the big square. So we're going to have to take the top and minus out the bottom of the small square. So let's first worry about the top. That's 12 times 12, right? Because that's what it is for this big square. Now, the bottom of the small square is actually just the top of the small square, right? Aren't they the same? So we're actually just going to subtract out this, 64. So we're going to get 12 times 12, 144, and then we're going to minus 64 from it. And that's going to get us 80. So we're going to add 80. Okay, and again, the reason I do this subtracting is because you can see here, the bottom of this is blocking the whole top. So I'm actually not coloring in 144 square inches. I'm actually only going to color in 680 because 64 of the square inches are blocked. They're not going to get colored in. So we do 288 plus 288 plus 80 And that gets us 656 square feet. I didn't spell that right. There we go. Now, we're almost done. We now need to take our 2 units, the big one and the little one. We're going to take the small square and add it to the big square to get the total. So we're going to take 320 and add it to 656 to get the total area, surface area of 976. Oh, and I've been putting feet and this is inches. So just ignore that. Whoops. Don't know if anybody else noticed that until just now. These are all inches. Oops. There we go. And there's our answer. That's the total surface area of Dara's plant stand. All right, so things to remember. Count all your sides. To make sure you have all the areas. Find all areas first, then add together. So notice I do that. I find the area. When I'm done with all the pieces, I then add them all back together. Okay, so the independent practice is similar to the one we just did. So you're going to want to have a small square, right, and a big square. Well, actually, this is a big rectangle. This one's a rectangle. But remember, I did a square the same way I did the rectangle, so it shouldn't change how you do it. But that's kind of how you should have it set up. Okay, and don't forget to subtract out that bottom part and this bottom part. Don't color the bottom of this one either. Okay, subtract that, or don't do that, and then there's that bottom part too. Don't do that. All right, until next time. Of course, my menu will come back.